Radiant team pick.
Alright everyone, we're back and we're ready to start Game 2 between Team Archon and the Elite Wolves. Team Archon's currently up 1-0 in the series as they took Game 1. In a pretty dominating fashion, I'd have to say. I thought Elite Wolves played really well in the early game, and then Archon just kind of took over in the mid-game when Elite Wolves, their kind of strategy kind of fell on flat on its face. They were going for a really pushing-oriented start to the game, and then it just kind of fizzled out. And they weren't able to really keep pressure on, and then we saw some of the big item pickups come out for Archon. They got the Blink Dagger up on the Earthshaker, then they eventually got the Radiance up on the Bear as well. And then Elite Wolves didn't really have enough to keep going and keep fighting. But we're going to see that Lone Druid get banned out in the start here. And Elite Wolves, they're sick and tired of going up against the Bear. So Lone Druid's out of the pool, and also the Tusk is going to get removed. Tusk, one of the big picks for Team Archon. They play a lot of Tusk, and it's Whitebeard on that Tusk. He does a phenomenal job. He did a great job last game as well on the Earth Spirit. So respecting the fact that he plays a really mean Tusk, so that's going to get removed. Those are two starting bans from Elite Wolves. As for Team Archon, they banned out the Bat Rider and the Gyrocopter. The Bat Rider a little bit more unorthodox, but it's been removed from the pool. But I was just about to say, interesting that we still have Enchantress around, and as I say that, Team Archon picks it up. They've already got their Invoker as well. So Archon looking pretty good so far with their first two picks. Elite Wolves also looking decent. They got the Vengeful Spirit and the Undying. So they're two support heroes there. Now we start to step into our second ban phase.
5 seconds remaining.
Where now Archon will start to ban out some cores. Question is, which ones do they actually want to go for? Might reserve one ban for removing Templar Assassin. Make sure Invoker doesn't have to deal with that. I believe they banned it last game as well. In the second round, I can't exactly remember all the bans, but I think they banned it out last time. There we go. There goes the Templar Assassin.
Radiant team ban.
And Elite Wolves, I mean, there's a lot that they could do here. The problem is that they don't know exactly what's up with the Enchantress. Is it going to be a support Enchantress, or is it going to be an offlane Enchantress? Archon primarily played as an offlaner.
5 seconds remaining.
I can't really recall last time they played it as support, so I'm assuming Elite Wolves have done the research and they're gonna know that. So I might see them to go into banning some more of the core roles. Or sorry, banning more of some other support heroes. No, they're gonna ban the Phantom Lancer, okay.
Team Archon's turn to ban.
Phantom Lancer would have been difficult for them to deal with.
Radiant
and Zeus is gonna be the ban for Archon, okay. I still think Elite Wolves will probably remove a support here. There is a pretty big pool of support heroes that Team Archon plays. They make really good use of Bane and Dazzle, two pretty strong defensive supports. And with CM and Undying, or with Vengeful Spirit and Undying already picked up, although Archon doesn't really play Venge, but they do play a lot of Undying, so that's removed as well. I'm thinking like, what are we going to see come out? No, they're going to ban a Jug. So leaving those support heroes in the pool, probably thinking that Archon support pool is just too big, that they play really well. I'm hoping we're going to see a Night Stalker come out, but it's going to be a Marana picked up by Elite Wolves. So already they're showing that they're in for the early game, and they want to dominate that early and mid game once again, as they're picking up the Marana as a core. Although, it could be a core Vengeful Spirit. There is the chance of that. And then your two supports are Undying and Marana. That's a possibility.
10 seconds remaining.
I worry about...
5 seconds remaining.
So I forget who they were playing against, but I remember Archon picking up the Invoker, and then they got countered by an Outworld Devourer. and then they rotated their lanes and put a Templar Assassin mid. I wonder if we're going to see Elite Wolves go for an Outworld Devourer. It'll synergize really well if that's a roaming Mirana. And, I mean, the OD will be able to dominate the Invoker, but even if Archon does rotate those lanes, they banned out the Templar Assassin, but if they rotate their lanes around and put someone else mid against the OD, then you still have that synergy between the OD and the Mirana. Bane's going to be a pickup. That's going to further strengthen their laning phase and further strengthen their mid lane to start off, because we've seen it time and time again, the Bane just kind of camp in the mid lane, and it also robs from Elite Wolves. They don't really think they were in a position to pick up a Bane, but it does get rid of that Mirana Bane combo. But okay, we are going to see the Outworld Devourer pick up by Elite Wolves, so they do have that synergy, and this is already leading me to believe that the Vengeful Spirit is going to be the core. There is the chance that they could still run a core Mirana and still have the OD on their team. That gives you that setup a little bit later into the game for confirmed arrows. But it does kind of weaken your lanes a little bit. And doesn't really 100% go with
10 seconds remaining.
Kind of that strategy I was talking about earlier, with the OD can kind of dominate a lane just by having a Mirana there. If you get a banish off on a target, Mirana throws the arrow and it's almost impossible to miss that combo. It's just as easy as the Shadow Demon Mirana combo. The only thing more brain dead than it is the Bane sleep into Mirana arrow. All those extremely easy to hit.
5 seconds remaining.
And great pickup by Team Archon. They're going to pick up the Abaddon, and they primarily play this in the off lane. It's a Mu hero, but they've already picked up the Enchantress. And if you have to choose here which one you're going to put in the off lane, which one you're going to have as a support, it's definitely you put the Enchantress in the off lane, Abaddon as support. And the reason for that is the Abaddon shield can cure and remove the stun from those 5-second arrows from Mirana. And basically, Mirana, without landing a big arrow, just kind of becomes a really fun to play range creep. She doesn't really have the scaling without the item progression that you have as a core. She, as a support, when she doesn't have that, her skill set is good, and it's great early on in the game, but then it just completely falls off as the game goes on. So the Abaddon's going to completely counter that with the shield. So Elite Wolves are really going to have to win their lanes hard, and we saw them pretty much break even and just come out of the laning phase last game with a slight lead. This game they're going to have to win even harder. They're going to win much harder, and that was probably one of the downsides of last game, is that they didn't come out of the lanes ahead, as much ahead as they needed to take down those towers, and then keep going and take down the tier 2s, maybe get Roche, maybe get something like that, and really take control of the game. We didn't see that happen, and that might have been because they didn't win their lanes as hard as maybe they should have with a really early push-oriented lineup. But this game, they're not so much push-dependent, but they are very early game focused, and now they're going to add on an Omni Knight. And what is your scaling going to the late game? It's all OD. If OD doesn't do a lot of work, you're in trouble. Last pick for Team Archon is going to be the Faceless Void. Again, another hero that's great at controlling the fights for your team. And the other thing that it's going to do is the Chronosphere is going to allow you to draw out the fight a little bit longer, which, yeah, Elite Wolves, they've got some sustain with the Omni Knight and the Undying. For the most part, heroes like Vengeful Spirit, heroes like Mirana, they want the fight to go quick. They want to get the swap off, they want to get the arrow off, they want to kill you, they want to get a good engage with Moonlight Shadow, stuff like that. They don't really want the fights to keep going. Whereas you look at everyone on the side of Team Archon, they're fine with the team fights keep going on. In fact, Bane and Abaddon excel at those fights going on. And that's not mentioning the Invoker, the Enchantress, and the Faceless Void. The only one of those that actually struggles with team fights going on really, really long is Invoker if he runs out of mana. But if he doesn't run out of mana, he's going to keep getting his skills up, and he's going to be able to provide so much to the team fights. So this is all going to come down to the early game and how Elite Wolves are able to win their lanes and just run with it. And once again, snowball out of control and hopefully run and run over Archon. But we're going to see if they're going to be able to do that. As let's introduce our teams and our players. On our Radiant side, we're going to have the Elite Wolves. We've got Sia playing the Undying. Smash is going to be on the Omni Knight. Masoku's on the Mirana. Ewo is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit. And Van is going to be playing the very, very important Outworld Devourer for them. For our Dire side, it's Team Archon. They're currently up 1 game in this best of 3. As we've got Moo playing the Enchantress. Monkeys Forever once again is on his Invoker. We've got a pause, but we've got Fluff and Stuff on the Abaddon. Whitebeard's going to be on the Bane. And Jo is going to be playing the Faceless Void. And apparently they've got mic problems. Never mind, go. Or GOG. As we're resumed and we're ready to go. As we're actually going to have Elite Wolves charge up here onto the high ground. They're going to get a banish off onto the Invoker. But everyone here from Archon, as the stun's going to come in, going to immediately stun up Monkey's Fur with that arrow. But immediately it's cured by Fluff and Stuff with that aphotic shield. But they're going to find the first blood anyways. As Monkey's Forever goes down and the Undying gets off to a good start. And now they're going to come back down towards bottom rune. I don't think they actually saw Fluff come in and place that Observer Ward that was just barely outside of their vision. I believe. I could have been wrong because he was here to place the Observer Ward unless they were able to see it when it first went down. Which has been a bug in Reborn for a while, being able to see that. But not 100% reliable, so... Immediately, ping coming out saying there's an Observer Ward here in the mid lane, says Monkeys Forever. Fluff and Stuff counters it. As let's talk about our lanes. We got the Outworld Devourer going up against the Invoker in the mid lane, but once again the Abaddon's going to be here, and that's going to help protect against this combo of the Banish into an arrow. But of course Fluff and Stuff has to be a little bit wary of him eating the arrow. Top lane's going to be that off lane Omni Knight going up against the Faceless Void and the Bane, and I think without the Bane here, the Omni Knight's going to be able to do some work in the top lane. You know, we're probably going to have a lot of right clicks from Jo coming in, and then, you know, a heal bomb coming in from Smash, but then Jo can just rewind the damage. So I think Smash would be able to do much better if it was just Jo, but with the Bane there as well, it's just Smash is going to have a real hard time in that top lane. Bottom lane, safe lane farming Vengeful Spirit with the Mirana roaming around, but also the Undying. Kind of homing himself in the bottom lane, just going up against the Enchantress. The Vengeful Spirit should be able to farm freely in that bottom lane. So Elite Wolves don't really have to worry about that. But with them kind of guaranteed losing the top lane, and Van, it's going to be a little bit difficult for him. And it's really going to come down to Masoku being really effective on this Mirana. We've seen him play roaming Mirana several times in the past, although it's been a while since we've seen it. We have seen him play to Smash, taking a lot of damage here. They won't be able to finish him up, or maybe they will. They're going to get the Nightmare off, and that's going to allow them to dive past the tower. They've got their creeps under the tier 1, so the tier 1's not even attacking them, and that's going to be the first kill on the board for Archon, as Jo gets the kill there. And yeah, I think this is just a huge draft win for Archon, because I see it so difficult for Elite Wolves to really make anything happen here. As Van's going to get a banish off on a Monkeys Forever, but Whitebeard comes hasting on in as Van is in trouble. We're going to have a TP in from Sia, as that should allow Van to kind of get away, but no, with that haste on Whitebeard, he'll keep juking around the tower, or around the trees, but he will eventually go down, as it's going to cost Fluff his life. Now Sia's in trouble, and he'll try to continue juking and doing the same thing. He's going to eat through the trees, as they're going to go for Monkeys Forever. Masoku shows up, he gets an arrow, it's going to land and kill Monkeys Forever, and then they manage to get the right clicks in to kill Whitebeard right before Sia ran out of HP. As he just barely survives there, and that ends up being an advantage and a 3 kills to 1 in favor of Elite Wolves there. As Archon, it was looking good for them, but then all of a sudden it turned into a disaster. And then they were kind of committed diving, and then they ended up staying too long, and Masoku rotated on in. The arrow was on point, as that got them the kill on the Invoker, and then it just allowed the Undying to survive long enough to keep them getting a kill. As Masoku goes to throw an arrow, and he does actually hit the big creep, so he gets that extra gold for it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We're going to see a lot of movement around early on in this game. Both teams accelerate at moving around, or excel at moving around early on. We got 1,000 gold up on Masoku already. He just bought something, not sure exactly what it was. I think maybe he upgraded the courier. Yeah, and they're going to get engaged here on the fluff and stuff. Start with the magic missile, follow up with the arrow. Easy kill for them.
Has been eyeing your mount all day.
I talked about having to win the lanes, and Van could be in trouble here as we just had Whitebeard pick up an Invis rune at the top, and he's rotating on in. Are they going to TP a hero in here, or do they think it's enough, just the two of them?
Dire's bottom tower is
The
under
Monkey's
attack.
going to go on Van. As he constantly gets slowed up. His Sentry Ward's going to get dropped, so they know that Whitebeard's here in Viz. They didn't know that he picked up an Invis rune, but with that Sentry, they would have saw him. And they're going to drop another one as well. They want to keep tabs on where Whitebeard is, but now he's just going to start rotating into the Radiant jungle. As he's very close to spotting Sia, but they haven't seen each other just yet. And now Ewo is going to rotate on in, and this is going to be a disaster for Ewo. So, I don't know. Maybe he'll be okay. They don't really have a lot of damage here with just the Bane and the Abaddon, and even rotating the Enchantress in, it doesn't really add on a whole lot, because the Enchantress isn't level 6. Still just level 4.5 for Mu, which means they don't really have much damage. It's just a lot of right clicks. There was a banish in the mid lane on a Monkeys Forever. Didn't look like... Well, an arrow was thrown. But I don't know what it hit. I didn't hear it, didn't see it. And looked like all the dire creeps were there, so...
Radiant's
Not exactly
bottom
sure what
tower
happened
is
there.
under
We were a
attack.
little bit too late to the party to watch. As for our leader in CS, it's going to be Jo on the Void. 35 and 17. Smash, we predicted he was going to struggle in this lane. He's sitting at 10 and 1.
You get
Mid lane, it's very, very even. 21 and 6 for Monkeys Forever versus the 20 and 12 for Van. As for the bottom lane, we expected Ewo to be free farming. He's sitting at 28 and 12. He's fallen behind as I miss a kill, a very important one in the top. As Smash gets a kill onto Jo, our biggest, most rich hero in the game, goes down, and I miss it as Whitebeard will go down, the second star
Our thanks.
from the Star Storm. I guess
Dire's
it's a
top
star.
tower is under
Sure.
attack.
Lands, and that allows him to get the kill onto Whitebeard there. But 2 kills there going for Elite Wolves as they make a good rotation there. As Masoku throws an arrow and kills off the big creep once again. It's going to help him keep his items going. I was talking about how Mirana, if she doesn't get those items and falls behind, then she just kind of turns into a really interesting to play ranged creep. And part of this change in 686, her being able to arrow and it instantly kills the target, it really helps her. As she roams around, you can just throw that on one of the big creeps, and that helps you get XP and helps you get gold. That really helps you, but you do end up falling behind if you don't keep that going. But we're seeing Masoku at level 5 and a half right now, and now he's grouped up with Ewo as they're going to smoke up and go for a kill. We see Ewo has hit 6, and he's going to roam, try to get a kill. We see this a lot with gyrocopters as well. But Vengeful Spirit, pretty much the same thing. A very aggressive kind of style core. In fact, a lot more aggressive than Gyro. As they're going to, again, go for an opening here onto Jo. Jo with Chronosphere still on cooldown. Their smoke's going to get popped. They're going to lead with the stun on Jo. Arrow's going to fly in. Smash going to come in. Heal bomb, and there we go. They get the kill. C even is going to steal it with the decay. But we don't really have Archon doing too much to really defend their Void in the top lane, just kind of leaving them up there. And that leaves them vulnerable from these rotations from Elite Wolves. Now we see a battle over the top rune. As a banish is going to be cast on the Monkeys Forever. There isn't going to be an arrow from Masoku because it just barely doesn't have enough mana. He'll have mana now. But they've already got the kill on the Invoker. They got a nice swap off on the Fluff, sending him back. No level 6 and no borrowed time. As Elite Wolves once again find 2 kills, and they find themselves the first team to hit 10 kills in the game as they're up 10-3. So now Smash is added on his Arcane. boots. Masoku's going to buy his as well. Sia sitting at 1,100 gold. Might even buy a set himself. As this is going to be 3 sets of arcanes for Elite Wolves. It's going to be treads for Van. So he's not... They're not all massing arcanes. He's going to get treads. But he is... I don't want to say he's super far behind, because when you actually look at the last hits, he looks pretty even with some of the heroes in the game. There's a lot of heroes kind of around 33 CS. And it's just really Jao who's kind of out in front at 46. But it feels like that OD doesn't really have much of anything. Arrow's going to fly, and it's going to get them to kill onto Whitebeard. Which means they're not really going to have enough lockdown to go for Jao. He does have Chronosphere up as well. And with Fluff and stuff in behind him, they definitely won't be able to kill that Void. But once again, Elite Wolves finding a kill. As they continue to look good in this early game, and this is... They have to. It wasn't really an option for them. You know, they had to do well in the early game, and they found another arrow onto Fluff and stuff. So it's another kill for Elite Wolves, and Jao, he's going to go on the offensive here. Chronosphere is going to come down. Sunstrike on top of it as they get the kill on the Mirana. This Jao's going to halt all the cooldowns here. But he doesn't have any more allies coming in to support him in the top lane, because there's a little bit of a battle going on towards the bottom lane. Jao's still kind of going offensive, but Whitebeard's been stunned up once again. Van's going to be here with the right clicks. As he drops the Sanity's Eclipse, but it's on a Bane. And Bane's got 30 int, so that Sanity's Eclipse does pretty much nothing. Need a lot more right clicks, a lot more int stolen than 4 to do a lot of damage with the Sanity's Eclipse.
Radiant's middle tower is under
We've really seen that a lot. It's really taking these players a long time to get adjusted to Outworld Devour and the changes to how the insteal mechanic and how Sanity's Eclipse interacts with that insteal. We've seen so many Sanity's Eclipse do 0 damage.
Denied.
It's weird that we kind of go back to... I always kind of go back to the open qualifiers that we were casting for the Americas region, and when we were casting Lonely Boys, they were dominating with the Outworld Devourer. There's Bacon on the OD, and he's really been the only one that we've seen really excel playing the heroes. There's a nice wraparound play by Evo there. He went in through the trees here and just got a great opening there on Fluff and stuff. But Whitebeard's TP'd on in, moves here, and we're going to have another TP from Jao. Sunstrike going to land as well as Evo is in trouble in the farming. Vengeful Spirit will not go down because there comes Smash. He's got the Purification. Now he's going to have the Guardian Angel. As that last impetus flies in and actually gets them the kill on the Undying. As now Elite Wolves look to disengage, but Smash has been slapped up. Arrow's going to stun up Jao. As they're going to turn and go for Jao here, and they're going to find the kill. Great play there from Elite Wolves. Masoku once again on point with his arrows. But Archon, they're not... I mean, they're down 14-5 right now, but they're not giving up. They're not letting the Elite Wolves take this. They are not going down without a fight, and they're pushing back right now. As an arrow's going to fly in, this one unfortunately will not be on the mark.
To my house. All wands will break.
Smash has to repel himself, but he'll be able to back away. As Fluff places an Observer Ward, but it is in vision of the Sentry Ward that's already down, so that'll get countered up pretty soon. As soon as one of the Elite Wolves gets close enough, they're just barely out of vision range to be able to see up there. So that Observer Ward will actually stay up a little bit longer as Moonlight Shadow is going to get cast here.
Under attack.
Because now they're going to start moving up and immediately gets pinged out. That Observer Ward actually doing a lot of work for Archon. Because it spotted this Moonlight Shadow play. But look to get an opening here. Probably have to lead with a Hail Mary arrow, though. Isn't really going to be the most reliable. Whitebeard's going to come into the trees and check, and oh no, now they're going to see Whitebeard, and this is the worst moment for Whitebeard to get spotted, and yeah, that's going to be a kill for Elite Wolves. A Smash going to dive past the tower, going after Fluff, but and Abaddon's going to be a very, very difficult target to get. As we switch on over to the net worth, and we once again see Monkeys Forever leading the way in terms of net worth. So he's once again picked up his Midas, gone for his phase boots.
Radiant structures
1200 gold. Oh, Van's going to run right into them. He's going to try to TP out. Monkeys Forever's there with the Cold Snap. Just invoked it in time. And Van will get the banish off, but he's just trying to run away, and he's not going to be able to. His Fluffing Stuff's going to get the kill there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Smash has been caught by a Fiend's Grip, and Moo just steps in front of him. He's constantly throwing the impetus, and then he just eats an arrow. That was an arrow he had vision of for a long, long time. Definite misplay there from Moo. As Moo and Whitebeard both go down, they don't get the kill on Smash.
Dire's middle tower
But you know what?
We've
seen that happen in competitive play so many times, and another arrow is going to land here. This time it's on Jao, as the Void won't be able to travel back in time and take some of that damage back, as he was never able to get the time walk off because the stun was there from Iwo. But once again, another great kill set up by Masoku. But going back to the arrow that hit Moo in the mid lane, we've seen that happen so many times in competitive. It's happened so many times in you and I's, in our pub games, where it's just an arrow that you really should have just dodged. You're looking at something else, and it just completely catches you off guard and just turns the entire fight around. And we saw another one of those right there.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
It just happens, and unfortunately, it cost Archon. It cost them the kill, but it also led to 2 of them dying as well. But it's all on the back of Masoku with this roaming Mirana just landing his arrows. See an Ewo up in the top lane. Ewo up to 1600 gold. We still haven't seen him actually pick up an item outside of just Treads and Aquila. Sia's still just got the urns and arcanes, but up to another 600 gold. Masoku throwing an arrow there just to kill one of the Forge Spirits. But looks like he's got his arcanes and also picked up a Staff of Wizardry. So is that a Yule Scepter? What is that going to be made for? Yule Scepter allows you to land easy arrows if you choose to go for that. But 4 Staff would be pretty valuable as well for them. Van's gone for the Midas. So probably going the Midas into 4 Staff build for the OD. And then probably... I mean, he could go BKB or he could go Rod of Atos.
Dire's structures are fortified.
But this is a pretty crucial moment in the game. So Elite Wolves dominated early game in the laning phase, and then they were getting kills, but they weren't really pushing and taking towers down, which I think might be a little bit of a mistake, but now is the moment where they're going to start pushing those towers. So this is, again, they've got to keep going with these towers. Because there's so much riding on this Outworld Devourer, and if you go really late into the game, he's just not going to be able to do it all. So it's very important for Elite Wolves to keep taking these towers, knock down all the tier 1s, knock down all the tier 2s, start breaking high ground. And if they get in an engagement and they lose it really, really badly, that is not going to be good for Elite Wolves. And it could almost completely cripple their strategy at this point. But they'll get a tier 2 tower here. Archon won't fight just yet. They're split pushing, buying themselves a little bit more time as they get more farm on the map. As Monkeys was pushing in the top lane. He's picked up his Blink Dagger, by the way. And Moo is pushing the bottom lane. As he's got his drums picked up. So hasn't gone for the early Dragon Lance or even the early Aghanim Scepter. As he's foregone Midas as well, as he's saying, you know what, I'm going to pick up the drums, I'm going to pick up an item that is good at fighting now. Because if we go late, we should be fine. Well, let's make sure. Oh, Masoku. Uncharacteristic of him, he's actually going to miss the arrow there, and without that arrow, they're not going to have enough right click to be able to bring Moo down. So Moo will be able to TP away, and Elite Wolves miss a kill there. Van up to 2100 gold. So we got a smoke play here from Archon as they're going to jump on in. Jao's going to get a chrono on too. Sunstrike going to come in as they're going to focus Van, but then Jao's going to switch to Smash, and they're actually not going to get a kill on either during the duration of the Chronosphere. We're actually going to have immediately out of the banish, Van's going to buy a Blink Dagger and blink away. But now they're re-engaging. Jao's gone down. Fluff is in the middle of it as he's got no way out of this as he's dead. as Elite Wolves. Oh, they're looking pretty good here. They're going to get a banish off onto Fluff. Excuse me, Moo. Heal Bomb's going to come in. There's the Sanity's Eclipse. Now they're going to dive and try to find Monkeys Forever, but a little bit of a juke play. He blinks. He shows the fact that he went left and then immediately blinked back right. Great play by him, as he'll be able to live, but that was almost looking like a complete disaster for Elite Wolves. It was a great initiation, great gank from Archon. They had the Chronosphere, but then they just switched targets. They were originally focusing down the OD, then they switched to the Omni Knight. Or at least Jo switched. I'm not sure if anyone else switched. But they ended up with Van on very low HP. And Smash at I think maybe a third HP, maybe around a half HP. So they weren't able to get either. And then, you know, coming out, then Van was able to banish himself. He bought the Blink Dagger while he was in banish. While he was in the banish. I was going to point out the fact that he was sitting around 2200 gold as they were making that play, and I was thinking maybe he's going to go for the Blink Dagger instead of the Force Staff. But definitely in that moment, you buy the Blink Dagger because it's gonna keep you alive. And we saw it just do that. As soon as he came out of the banish, he was able to blink, and that meant Archon wasn't able to get that kill, and then it just kind of fell apart for them. Masoku leaps away. Jo leaps after him. But Masoku has completed that Yule Scepter, so he turns around, tosses Jo up in the air. Arrow's going to fly in, but Jo leaps away just barely in time. But Evo, coming in from the side, will be able to get a stun off. He's already reduced the armor from the Faceless Void, but Jo, once again, time lock is up. It's always up. 6 second cooldown. Thing is pretty much always up, so constantly able to time walk away, but it does have that reduced range, so. Fluff has picked up a not a Force Staff, a Staff of Wizardry, so I expect that to be built into a Force Staff. It's always good having a Force Staff, even though we've got the Abaddon that can use his shield to make sure that a stun target is able to move again, and you're not going to get stuck in place from a 5-second arrow. But even if something happens like that and your shield's on cooldown and an arrow comes in and stuns someone up, it's great to have a Force Staff just to be able to force that teammate back into a better position. And on top of that, sometimes it's good just to be able to Force Staff yourself closer so that you can get that shield up. As Van's going to blink forward, but Jo and Fluff, they're just going to turn around as this Outworld Devourer just gets deleted. As he's dead now, Fiend's Grip's going to catch Smash. As Moonlight Shadow's been used, the arrow's going to cancel the Fiend's Grip, but that's not going to be fast enough for Smash to survive. As Elite Wolves lose too, they are getting a split push in the bottom lane as Evo doing a bunch of damage to the tier 2, but Moo's going to TP back and prevent that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
As Archon's going to claim the mid tier 1. They also had Monkeys pushing the top lane, but Evo TP's on in, and Masoku is there with the arrow, as he has been pretty much all game long. And they find the kill on Monkeys Forever, who's pretty damn close to completing his Aghanim Scepter, about 300 away from that. We still haven't seen Evo pick anything up, as he's at 3,200 gold. Thinking maybe he's going to buy something. I really don't know. I feel like he's got to buy something soon. Is it just an Aghanim Scepter and he's just waiting to buy the whole thing? It's a little unusual that you'd wait for that. But what is he waiting for at 3,200 gold? There's not many items that you can buy that cost more than that. In fact, there's only one. And that's the Relic. Well, Elite Wolves are going to go for Roche here.
My eyes closed.
And we just had two pretty big pickups. Of course, we're talking about the Force Staff from the Abaddon, but we've also had the Faceless Void just pick up his Blink Dagger. As Jo is off to a great start in the lanes, he got a lot of CS, but we actually haven't seen his item progression go too well for him, as he's well down the list in terms of net worth, 5th in the game. That's kind of one of the pitfalls of Faceless Void, the fact that he just isn't really good at farming.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Is all. Now we're going to have Aether Lens picked up by the Bane, Aghanim Scepter completed by the Invoker, and this is the problem. Right? We saw it last game. Elite Wolves, they took control early on, started knocking down towers, but then Archon started picking up really core items, and then it just became very, very difficult for Elite Wolves to keep doing what they were doing and keep knocking down towers, keep control of the map. And I feel like Archon has just picked up a ton of core items on pretty much everyone on their team. I think the only one who hadn't picked up anything was the Enchantress, but that's just because we haven't looked. And Moo has already picked up the Dragonlance, so they've all picked up a core item in the last couple minutes. And it's going to be very, very difficult for Elite Wolves, as they're going to look to push the bottom tier 2 here. But Jayo's already pushing the mid tier 2. We've got Monkeys pushing the top tier 2. And Fluff and Whitebeard are here as well, so we've got 4 heroes devoted to pushing from Archon.
Dire's bottom tower.
Bottom tier 2 will go down.
Dire's bottom tower is
Top
under
tier 2's
attack.
gone. Mid tier 2
Radiant's
got down to
middle
a half
tower is under
HP.
attack.
As Archon starts TPing back and defending their base because their tier 3 is under attack. Smash gonna get slept up. Jayo's gonna blink forward, gonna get a chrono off on 2. But look at that, the Nightmare was there and that ended up sleeping the Faceless Void, which allowed the arrow to come in.
Sorceries avail.
Some definite miscommunication there from Archon. As they get a... Elite Wolves get a much needed kill there on the Faceless Void to start things off. They get a swap off onto Moo, and Moo's dead. This is actually looking fantastic for Elite Wolves. It's going to force out the buyback from the Enchantress. No buyback available on Jayo.
Dire's bottom tower
As Van, losing a lot of HP. Whitebeard positioning himself in the trees, gets a Fiend Grip. Fiend's Grip off on a Smash, but they're able to kill that Bane and allow the Guardian Angel to come out. Smash does go down from some magical damage while it was up, but Moo, it's a dieback for him. As the Enchantress dies, Fluff's going to go down as well, as it's going to be a triple kill for Ewo, and GG, well played, will get called by Archon as they tap out of this one. And they were looking like they were in a great spot in that game. They just had to draw the game out and last a little bit longer, but it was Elite Wolves for in the entirety of the game being ahead. But this is a moment where once again their strategy was just going to kind of fall on its face and just completely fizzle on out. But we didn't see that because that last fight just went so well for Elite Wolves. And I felt like Jayo jumping in and getting the Chronosphere was maybe a little forced and a little rushed, but the Chronosphere wasn't too bad. The problem was when it happened, Whitebeard was in the process of nightmaring who is it? The Omni Knight? I think it was the Omni Knight. I think it was Smash. Nightmaring Smash, whereas Jayo blinked in, Chronosphere, and then he went to attack, and then he got nightmared. And because Masoku wasn't in the Chronosphere, he threw the arrow, and it was a nice 5-second arrow on Jayo. So Chronosphere ends, and then they just killed Jayo. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now Elite Wolves have to defend Archon has to defend against Elite Wolves. And Elite Wolves have 5, Archon's got 4. Jayo has no buyback available, so there was no way that they were going to have their Faceless Void. Then Archon, they're trying to chip away, trying to prevent them from losing their racks so early on in the game. And then Ewo had a great swap off and just pulled that Enchantress way out of position. They were able to focus Moo, forced out the buyback, and then just from there, Elite Wolves just kind of took the high ground. They pushed up past the racks, and they took that fight. And they were able to bring some of those targets down. We still, in the end, didn't see Ewo actually spend all that gold he had. He ends with 4,600 gold. He ended up buying a Helm of the Dominator. But we saw him sitting at almost 3,500 gold by the time we looked away. And he ends up just buying a Helm of the Dominator. So we definitely had a lot more gold to spare. But Elite Wolves, they take that game, and they're going to push this game to a third game in this best of 3. As they even the score up at one game apiece. And Archon will look to will kind of regain their thoughts and kind of get back on the same page, because I thought they came out of that draft in a fantastic place, and they ended up losing the game. So they'll look to bounce back in game 3 and take the series, but it will be a best of 3 that's coming down to a best of 1. And winner goes on to the next round, the semifinals of the upper bracket. Loser, they're not eliminated. They go down to loser's bracket, but then they're forced to play best of 1s until the grand finals. Well, guys, I'm going to throw it to music. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Game 3 of the series. Once again, thanks for watching. I was Niz, and we'll see you soon.